Ultimate Seattle Sports Show coming in from the VMAC in Renton as the Seahawks get set to open their 3-day mini camp. We'll take a break from football right now and talk some Mariners. They got off to a strong start last night. They opened a 4-game series with the Orioles in Baltimore and looked awfully good, winning it 6-3. And Josh Naylor with the grand slam in that game, Chris, that pretty much told the story for the offense.
I mean, yeah, and there's a lot of story in this game. You talk about a Mariners team coming off that heartbreaking series against the Tigers. Munoz, gives up the home run. But here's the great thing about baseball. They don't have a week to think about it. They have less than 24 hours to kind of rewrite and get things ready. Then they get to Baltimore, Paul, and then a lot happens there. J.P. Crawford put in the IL. He got hit by a pitch on Friday, so there's concern. Who's going to play shortstop? Oh, it's going to be Colt Emerson. Colt Emerson in the lineup. He scratched from the lineup. All of a sudden, what do we do now? So Colt Emerson out because of tightness in his back. We'll see if he plays today. So they move Cole Young. He gets his first career start at shortstop. They bring Ryan Bliss up from Tacoma. People are like, oh boy, here we go again. What's happening here? But they find a way in this game, and that's what I love about this team right out of the gates. Luke Raley with a great play out in right field. He makes a great catch out there. Emerson Hancock pitches another beauty. Randy Arozarena, he's been our quiet MVP, Paul, of the season. 3 more hits in this game. And then we'll talk about the 5th inning where just pretty much everybody on this team stepped up. But in my mind, this was a great win. Roll into Baltimore, flush that game, flush that series in Detroit, start off things great against the Orioles.
Yeah, I mean, the things you talk about there remind me of all the intangibles that took place last night in this game, especially some of the Orioles stranded 10 runners in this game. So Emerson Hancock did pitch in and out of trouble a little bit there, but this is a team that took advantage of the challenge calls, and there are some guys that are good at it and other guys that aren't real good at it. And the Mariners had some success last night on both sides.
Our photographer extraordinaire, Tate Miller from King 5 Sports, he was questioning Johnny Paredes challenge calls, but Pareda was phenomenal. I mean, that was a huge moment in this game. And you mentioned them getting out of jams. Emerson Hancock in that 3rd inning, hit by pitch, 2 walks, bases loaded. How are you going to get out? He got out of that inning with only 1 run, a sac fly run. So he was phenomenal, escaping out of some trouble yesterday.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Pareda, because there's going to be a big question when Cal Raleigh comes back is what they do at catcher with Mitch Garver and Johnny Pareda. But to your point, Pareda was ranked dead last in the majors from catchers making those calls.
Tate's point, not my point.
No, I'm just saying, that's why he was saying that, because he was ranked dead last. He probably still is, just because he had a nice night last night. But you got to be smart back there, and it paid off huge, especially with Pete Alonso thinking he's got to walk and they're going to load the bases, and he's strolling up the first base line. He's like, "You're done, Pete." Into the dugout. That's an out and a strikeout in the end of the inning. So after the game, manager Dan Wilson spoke to the media talking about the multiple challenges and the calls and the swinging and the Mariners' favor that ultimately helped lead this team to the win.
Kind of later in the game, it was a lot more about little things. You talk about a great heads-up play by Julio to get that runner tagging at second base that eliminated a run from the scoreboard, and Jake in the video room doing a great job of catching that. It's little things here and there. Johnny Pareda with a couple of huge challenges for us, one with Alonso and then there with Mooney. I think those are big, huge turning points, and they're little things, but they come up large in a game like this.
Again, you talk about the game as a 6-3 win for the Mariners, but there were so many things going on in that game. And Josh Naylor, again, with the grand slam that he said afterward felt like it gave the team a little comfort and took a little pressure off this team as they bolted out to the 4-run lead.
Oh, no question about it. It's 1-1 in that 5th inning, and actually they were down 1-0 in the 5th. It was Ryan Bliss, who came up from Tacoma, that had the sac fly to tie things up. But I think you have to continue to give credit to this incredible pitching staff. They're going with a 6-man rotation right now. You're coming off a weekend where you had Bryce Miller showing that he is now the ace of this team. Luis Castillo throws a gem on Sunday, and then Emerson Hancock just takes over. They just continue to pass the baton. And what Hancock did yesterday, I'm going to be honest, Paul, that 1st inning, I thought we were in trouble because they were hitting the heck out of Hancock. I mean, the velo coming off the bat. I love that word velo. But
it's been a couple of days.
The birds were blistering the ball, and luckily luckily Hancock somehow got through that game with only giving up 1 run, and that was on a sac fly.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned the fact that the Orioles stranded 10 runners in this game, but they also were hitting the ball very hard right at guys. So, the Mariners kind of weaved their way in and out of trouble last night, but they got the win 6-3. Hancock talked after the game about being able to survive with all that traffic on the base paths.
Knew you needed some quick outs there, so especially with some righties coming up. In the fourth, we were able to get some quick outs, get some ground balls, and then luckily got through the fifth. But, I thought tonight was just about our guys and our offense and just trying to keep them in there, do everything I could to go out and put a 0 for us when we had the big inning. So hats off those guys. Great defensive plays everywhere, too.
So, this Mariners team trying to make it another win tonight in Baltimore. It's a 10-game road trip for this squad. It didn't start out all that great, losing 2 out of 3 in Detroit. But the Orioles are tough at home. We'll see what they can come back with tonight. But, again, Mariners still in first place in the AL West. And we got to talk about that A's game last night against the Brewers, because that's a different story. But I want you to wrap this up with the Mariners.
We've got a couple places to go still on this Mariners game. I go to that 5th inning. I talk about total team effort. You have Brendan Donovan still out. You have Cal Raleigh going to be playing in Tacoma tonight, weather permitting. More than likely going to catch 4 innings for the Rainiers. May play again. You're missing J.P. Crawford. You're missing Colt Emerson. You're missing a lot of pieces from the puzzle right now. Yet I look to that 5th inning. You see Dominic Canzone. We've talked about what he's done. He comes through with a single. Johnny Pareda. How do you send him to Tacoma? That's going to be a debate on its own. He gets a single. Ryan Bliss comes up from Tacoma, gets a sac fly. Cole Young, what he's done, gets a single. Julio Rodriguez, great at bat. How many years have we sat here and said, oh, Julio's swinging at outside pitches. He's going after the slider. He's chasing the sweeper. He takes a walk, and then Josh Naylor. So, yes, Josh Naylor is all over the highlights last night, but I would have loved to see Julio Rodriguez on the highlights last night for taking that walk. If you don't have that walk, you don't get the grand slam. And then, Paul, that leads us to Andres Munoz. And this is what we talked about, the road trip. He's going to get more chances. And I'm actually going to give Dave Softy Muller a lot of credit here, because so many times you'll see baseball folks try to put so much into an ERA. Oh, my God, his ERA is this. He's given up 14 earned runs. Relievers, closers, it doesn't matter. It's how many great innings have they pitched. They made, like he said, he gave up 4 runs against the Padres. When you're a reliever, you only get 2/3 of an inning, 1 inning. Your ERA is going to bloom up there. So I agree with Softy basically saying don't look at a closer or reliever's ERA. And, yes, it has been a roller coaster ride for Andres Munoz this year. But to give him the ball, again, I think that was great work by the Mariners. Went out there. Hopefully that helps his mental approach to the game, because in my mind he's not fixed yet. But if he can get rolling here, I'd like to see that. But it's been a concern this year, Andres Munoz. So as we speak, though, he is the closer. I don't think Matt Brass should be it right now.
All right, well, let's throw the ERA out there. We know he's struggling. I mean, he's had 5 blown saves this year. He had 6 total blown saves last season. Yeah. So there's no question he's working through something. Yeah. He didn't just fix it last night, but it is good to get out there. He loved the fact that the Mariners trusted him to go out there and close that out last night. And when you have a lead like he had, it's kind of nice going out there as a reliever when you've got a 3-run lead instead of just 1.
Well, it felt good, but I think every Mariners fan was still shaking watching that game.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
I know I was at that first at bat, and then finally they get the out, and it was, I think, Julio that made the catch out there. Like, okay, everybody can breathe a little bit here. But still putting too many people on base, I think, another walk last night. So
yeah, and you look at the AL West, the standings right now. Mariners, of course, still on top. Rangers sitting a couple of games back. They were idle. A's 3.5 back after a wild 15-14 loss in Las Vegas to the Brewers. Now, I just want to touch on this, Chris, a little bit, because A's fans are waiting for their team to show up out there in Vegas, which isn't going to be for a couple more years as they continue to build that stadium off the Strip. But this week, the A's are playing 2 series in Las Vegas for the first time. They get out of Sacramento. They get to play in their future home city, at least. But they played at the Aviators ballpark, which is a little AAA park there. And they racked up, they combined with the Brewers for 29 runs in this game. 15-14 was the score in this game. and there were 11 home runs. They each scored 4 runs in the 10th inning as they continued to go to 12 before they found a win. But I say that because it's just a wild game for baseball fans to watch, easily one of the most wild games of the season. But I love the fact that the A's finally get to get a little breather, go out to Vegas, still another minor league ballpark, but at least they get to go out there and say, this is a little bit about what it's going to be like playing in June.
In June, what's going to be interesting to me is to see when the A's are playing there in July and August, and it's 115 degrees out there at the ballpark. That's going to be a different story for me. But yeah, it's fun for the fans. I think this is going to be a ball club that, I still feel bad for all the fans in Oakland that lost this team, and now, they're moving to Vegas. What will the fan base be like there? It's a lot of fans that come in and out, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I know there's going to be a lot of teams not going to want to schedule games against the A's in July and August. Because you better be ready. You think it was hot in Texas? Get ready for Vegas in late August. That's going to be really tough.
Yeah, that ballpark is a smaller ballpark too. It's somewhere in the 30s for a maximum crowd. So we'll see what happens there. But back to this Mariners baseball team again, continuing their series tonight in Baltimore. The A's had much of first place locked up for the first part of this season until the Mariners got after them, swept them, and kind of took control of the top spot in the AL West. Here's Dan Wilson talking about his closer, Andres Munoz, stepping up and securing the game.
I think it was really important. I thought he threw the ball extremely well. We saw, everything on display again, some heaters, some sliders, a couple changeups as well. So, I thought he was able to use his stuff well. He was fine in the zone with it, and I thought he attacked much better tonight with his, especially in the zone. So really good to see that tonight from him as well.
All right, Chris, you mentioned Colt Emerson and the injury he had last night that kind of kept him out of action.
Well, tightness in his back. I don't like a youngster getting that. It's okay if you and I get that. Yeah. We'll see, though. These guys are on the road a lot, so hopefully that is nothing for Colt Emerson, nothing to worry about. If things go back to plan, Colt Emerson will move to shortstop, Cole Young back to second base. Shouldn't be a problem there.
Yeah, J.P. Crawford got hit in Detroit on the hand, so he's got a contusion on his hand, and he's just basically sitting out there. They had put him on the injured list, so he's out on the 10-day IL. So
and let's be clear, Paul, on that. I heard somebody on Twitter, JP's out and he's got to toughen it up. He got hit by a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Don't be tweeting toughen it up. Are you kidding me? He got hit by a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right here. Most of us would be out of work for the month. So don't tell me to toughen up. You go get hit by a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, Paul. Hey. I've seen gals crying in co-ed softball when they get hit by a law pitch. A 96 up there? Come on. Settle down.
Easy, Tuffy, tough.
Easy. Settle down.
All right.